All right, y'all, good morning. So, man, what a beautiful day. Sorry for the rooster. I want to preface really quick. Mom's got the oldest doing homeschool. Dad's got the two littles. We got farm animals. So today's probably gonna be a little bit of a rodeo, but just bear with us. I may have mentioned it in future videos, or past videos rather, maybe future videos, depending on when I post this. That we recently bought our dream property. It's 20 acres tucked up against the National Forest, and it's got a little bitty 800 square foot house on it that we are currently in the process of making our own. One of the big projects that we're doing on that is an addition. It's not a large addition. We're gonna add about 800 square feet to it with a pretty decent sized garage. And I just wanted to try to catch you guys up on what we've done so far, because a lot of our future projects are gonna stem from this project. So we started way back in the summer, maybe even late spring, just hand drawing up plans. We've been planning this thing for 10 years, and so we have just tons of pictures of ideas and dreams and things that we wanted. And so I kind of took all that and made an amalgamation into what would work with this property. And we hand drew some plans and then had them engineered. Rented an excavator, did a bunch of dirt work, had a dozer guy come out and do some site prep as well. And then hired a concrete company to come and pour the foundation. That'll be the only part to this point that we're not doing ourselves. Concrete's just something that I had no experience in. It didn't seem too difficult, but I know it's unforgiving, and I wanted to start off on the right foot, square and level, and without any kind of complications. So yeah, we're gonna pick up on the framing. We hope to be a lot further than we were or are right now, but as luck would have it, the weather all through the spring was pretty wet and uncooperative. So we've recently just purchased our first load of lumber to start framing the floor system over the crawl space. It's finally gotten cold, and just as we were getting ready to do that and we got layout, we noticed that the original house was about 1.5 inches out of level, which would cause some major complications as far as trying to get floor systems level and massage that plumb and level all the way through to the roof framing. So I decided to avoid that and to just jack the house up. So recently a buddy of mine and myself, we went under the house with about 8 bottle jacks, built up some cribbing and all the load points, and lifted the house 1/2 inch. We were able to shim the front of the house with a brand new seal plate. So it's 2 layers of seal plate on the front. And then we're gonna go back in the spring once things warm up, and we're gonna pack everything with non-shrink grout on the sides. And I'll show you videos of that. All right, so here's the addition. Plan being 400 added square feet to the great room, kitchen, living room, dining room. It's already about 400 square feet. And then a 900 rather, square foot garage with a 400 square foot master bed and bath suite above. There'll be a small staircase right here. Today's project is going to be solving the problem of trying to re-bolt the house to the foundation. And I'll walk you through that over here. All right, guys, so now that we got the house jacked up, I'm gonna try to show you the current problem we're facing and the potential solution that I've come up with. So before we jacked the house up, we had our regular seal plate with a 1/2 inch bolt, a washer, and a nut securing it, right? And then we took this off and we jacked this seal plate up, and we put a new seal plate under. So now it looks like this. The problem with this is the threads to the bolt are too short. So my plan was to get a thread extender, 1/2 inch thread extender, and some threaded rod, and extend the threads. The problem with that is it's a 1/2 inch hole. Okay, if you've ever tried to drill out a hole that already exists, it's a pretty painful process. Also, that bolt sticks up about halfway, so you'd hit it with any normal drill bit. So the solution I've come up with is using a hole saw. I took the drill bit out of the center, which makes that a problem, because if you ever tried to drill with the hole saw without that stabilizer bit or starter bit, that's a pain. So next step to the solution, we cut a jig with a 7/8 inch hole saw. The plan is center that on top of the existing hole like this, secure it with 2 screws, and use that as a guide for this 7/8 inch hole saw. And once we get through the first plate, should be able to take all that off. Hopefully the remnants of the hole being drilled out stay within the hole saw, and I don't have to pick all that out, because that would be quite the bear. But then we should be able to take this, put it down in a 7/8 hole, screw it to the top of the thread, secure that tight, and then washer and nut on top of that. And so that is the grand plan. Yeah, to make matters worse though, we have a span of about 9 1/4 inches to work with to do all this, because we're doing it between the floor joists. So your standard drill, not gonna work. And so I borrowed this from a buddy. It's called the installer tool. It's got this cool little 90 on it and an adjustable chuck. And the hopes are that we can have enough room to get in there, drill this 7/8 hole, and get our solution to the problem installed. So we'll let you guys hang out with us and watch, and I'll let you know what other problems I come up with along the way. So jeez. Okay. All right, guys. Y'all forgive the mess. It is a crawl space and we're actively working in here, but I wanted to show you the 2 main ridge beams that support the load of the house in the center of the structure. We used 20-ton jacks, which is way overkill for this, but built up some cribbing on those, and then set a beam, 3 2x10s lagged together on the perimeter of the house. It's much lighter over here on the perimeter of the house than it is in the center, just the way the vaulted ceiling is built. But yeah, we just used these beams here, secured them with 2x4 so there wouldn't be any rotation, set metal plates between the jack and the beams, and then just slowly started lifting the house a 1/4 inch at the time. I pre-cut a bunch of 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and 1 inch shims like this that we used in between the seal plate and the wall as we lifted to kind of capture our progress until we got where we wanted to be and could fit the full 1.5 inch beam, or seal plate under rather. But I'll show you how I built the cribbing up. The first thing I used, just some 2x dimensional lumber on the bottom. Excuse me, whiskey. As a base, made sure the dirt was nice and level, and then placed that down. 4x4s cut at 2 feet for cribbing, and overlap them pretty good just so you have no risk of it rolling or anything. Tripled them up on the last 2 rows and then put a base plate there. Also stuck a piece of metal between the jack and the wood, just because with all that weight, I was pretty sure that jack would just drive right through the wood. I then preloaded the jacks and the cribbing on the beams. So I'd lift and lift and lift, and it basically drove these piers down into the ground a couple of inches. And if they seemed like they were going to be unlevel, I just took everything down, re-leveled, reset it, and then pressed them down again until we had something that was going to stay level throughout the process. All right, here goes nothing. Fingers crossed. challenge number 1 went pretty simple. So let's see if the rest of the plan works out. I think it's gonna work. Nice. All right, we can just do that 12 more times. Okay, honey. Boop. Okay. Okay. All right, next thing we're gonna do, I've already got a couple on, but we're gonna reattach these little braces on either side of the pillars that hold the main beam. And that just prevents any kind of lateral movement. So we're gonna do that on this one, and then those two over there. And we'll just about be done down here. All right, guys, so today was a good day. We got a lot done, almost finished everything under the house. Got to a point, all the drill batteries are dead, ran out of frame and nails. Sometimes you just gotta know when to call it quits. But I think today was a good day, so y'all thanks for hanging out. We'll hopefully get to framing next week. So, see you then.
Well, the balance continues, and long days like these leave little time for big family adventures. And you know what? That's okay. They don't care. They don't always need that. They need this. You. Whatever you can give, and whatever that looks like. They're gonna remember these times the most. The daily grind and the seemingly mundane. So let's make them count and live life on purpose. Don't wait for tomorrow. It's happening now.